Thinking about making a move to the Central Coast of California? On this episode, we're going to unpack all the pros and cons to help you decide if making a move is the right thing for you. Hello, and welcome back to the Happy House Hacking Podcast, the podcast designed to help people in California navigate the path to happy home ownership. We are your hosts, Owen and Camille Schwagerly, and we are realtors, we are investors, and we are happy house hackers. And on today's episode, we are going to chat about pros and cons of living on the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. So you may be thinking, should I move there or not? And so today we're going to unpack all the reasons you may want to consider or not consider making a move here.
Yeah, it was kind of hard writing this cons list, but we did come up with some valid ones. We just think the world of this place. So if you have the opportunity to move here, let's do it. But there are some valid reasons that maybe it's not the right place for you.
Exactly. So let's start with those cons, because we've shared and you may have heard reasons why you would consider moving to the Central Coast. And so let's just start with the cons. So kind of number one is cost of living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so sad to say that our cost of living is so high and it doesn't match other counties in our area what the general income is. So the income to living expenses, that ratio is off for our county, which is just really unfortunate. And the housing prices for sales plus rental costs are well above the national average too, which is just straight up deterrent for a lot of people.
So as of last quarter 2024, the national average price for home was $420,000. And then here on the Central Coast, it was $875,000.
Yeah.
So double what the national average is. And our incomes, average household income was about $90,000, and that's just in our county. And then the national average household income was about $80,000.
Yeah.
So it just shows you there's a disparity there on the incomes versus the cost of living here.
Yeah. And I think that goes to another con about our area is just a limited job market. We don't have a lot of industry. I mean, we have Cal Poly, which is, the best university ever. Go Mustangs. But that's really our biggest draw to our area is our university. We don't have a ton of tech. We're not Silicon Valley, and we're not all of the really amazing companies that are in Los Angeles. So we have fewer industries that are able to support and sustain high achieving individuals. So a lot of people that we know that have stayed here have had to start their own businesses or work multiple jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then that also plays into cost of rent. So in our county, the average rent for just, going off the average home is about $2,805 per month. The national average is $2,000 per month. And we are less than California as a whole. The average rental rate is $3,500 for the state of California. So we do have lower rents as a whole compared to a lot of other areas. However, if you're looking at renting versus buying, it is expensive to be here. So to go off of that job market, it really has limited who stays and who actually makes it work here on the coast. And so for years, people would go to Cal Poly, want to stay after they graduated, yet not find a way to do it. They usually would go to one of the big metros, get some well-paying jobs, and then come back later once they've made it. And so a lot of people do retire in SLO County, and they made their money somewhere else. Or remote workers.
Yeah.
Also a thing we're seeing where people can work remotely, so they have high-paying jobs from some of the big metros, and yet they can then afford to buy the homes out here.
Right. Yeah, we have quite a few clients who explore opportunities to retire here. And one very important piece to making that move for them is also healthcare. And healthcare is really limited on the Central Coast for what people need. I know we heard the latest statistic is that we are about 250 primary care doctors short than what we need to sustain our area. So if you are an older person that needs to see the doctor quite a bit, this area cannot support some of those specialized needs that that person has. So I know Kaiser is a big provider in both Northern California, Southern California, and it just doesn't exist here. Insurance is very limited. There's a lot of private practices. So a lot of places don't even take insurance. And that's a big con, unfortunately, to moving to our area, especially if you are older and needing a lot of medical attention.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to have people drive 3.5 hours to get to the Bay Area or LA, where they do have these world-renowned healthcare options. And then that goes back to another con, which is the infrastructure
Mhm.
for San Luis Obispo County. We're seen as a rural county. We have a population of 282,000 in the county. So it's lower population, slow. The town has about 47,000 people that live in it. Paso has about 31,000 people that live in it. And those are the two most densely populated towns in SLO County. So the infrastructure isn't as built out as it is in the major metros. For example, we have a regional airport. So it does fly to about 9 great connections: SF, LA, Seattle, Dallas, Denver. There are some direct flights, but if you're going to travel somewhere all over the world, you will have to make connections to get to that end destination.
Yeah, so that is a big deterrent. It is something that you can overcome easily though, especially if you are committed to making travel plans, a little bit longer. Maybe you're flying out of San Luis, but you're able to take a couple connecting flights. You definitely can make it work, but it is a deterrent for a lot of people who are used to the convenience
Mhm.
of having a direct flight pretty much anywhere they want in the
Yeah.
world.
I mean, if you are needing to go to doctors, for example, it is a quick 40-minute flight from SLO to SF, or 50 minutes to like LA. So it is a really fast flight. So there are people that do that to make it there for commuting for work or for going to get care. However, it is just an added cost and time consideration.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Another con that we thought of was just overall entertainment. I know there are so many college students that live here, and the entertainment options definitely don't compare to other big cities. And that can really be a downside for slower pace of life for some people. They want, the hustle and the bustle. And we really don't have that. Our town, San Luis Obispo, SLO, we call it the slow life. And that's what we all know and love. So that can be a deterrent
Right.
to people who are here, which is, I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. It's some people would think that's a positive, and others are going to think, yeah, no, that's not for me.
Mhm.
I want to stay in a busy area.
Right. When we were in college, most all the stores, everything closes at 8 o'clock at
Yeah.
night. So the town shuts down. And yeah, maybe the bars are open late, but that's like, if you wanted like treats and desserts, there wasn't anything open except for a donut shop in town. And so that's when Camille and I realized there was a need for a late night sweet. So when we were at Cal Poly, we started a chocolate chip cookie delivery company that was open till midnight and delivered cookies all across the county to fill that need.
Yeah, that was fun. You're such a good baker.
Oh, thank you. And it was sweet, and there are more options now for late
Yeah.
night type things, so there has been a shift. Yet if you go to most towns in our county late at night on, a weekday, like most things close up around 8.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so another downside to potentially moving to this area is just the overall impact tourism has, especially during the summer. People travel all over to come to our beaches. So Pismo is a really hot destination over summer, especially for people from the Central Valley where we're the closest beach to them. And it can just be really crowded where your hometown is just feels like there are so many random people all over the place. And that is really exciting because that's lots of new people you get to meet. But if you are just trying to get from point A to point B on a Tuesday, it might be a lot more crowded than you're used to it being outside of summer. So that's, a downside. Paso Robles has a huge wine industry. And so a lot of people come to town just for that too. So that's another area where it might be heavily impacted by tourism. So if you're someone who is used to getting to places on time, you might want to leave a little bit earlier during peak season in order to make it to your destination.
Yes. Okay, then there's the obvious concern of wildfire risk. And California has had a lot of wildfires. We've had natural disasters with earthquakes, mudslides. There's always going to be something that happens. And so some parts of our county are designated high wildfire risk. And so that is a concern for a lot of people right now. So when you are looking at where you want to end up, you want to be familiar with and know if I want to buy in a place that has high brush, sage, trees, grasslands that are open. These are things that are a concern, not just for our area. More and more parts of California are being affected by this. However, it is something to definitely be aware of, cautious of, and take into consideration when making a move.
Yeah, and the good news too is during your due diligence period while you're under contract on a house, you get all of this information in advance before you buy a house on whether or not you're in a high fire zone. You'll get homeowners insurance quotes. So that way you can budget for your premiums every month. And then you can decide, yeah, no, this is way too
Right.
expensive. This isn't what I want. Or you can still move forward with the purchase and make sure that you're defending your space against fire if that were to happen. So definitely a big concern in California in general, but especially in a lot of parts of our county.
Yes. And you do have that insurance contingency to protect you for that exact reason. If you decide you don't like the insurance that you're getting, or if the quote was too high, you can totally back out for that reason and not move forward with the purchase.
Yep. Yep. Okay, well, let's move on to the more exciting part of this episode today and talk about all the reasons why you should live here, all of the pros, because there are so many and kind of hard to condense into just one short little episode. But the obvious choice and reason why you should be moving here is it's just so beautiful. The weather is perfect. Everywhere you look, it's just gorgeous. You get hills, you get oceans, you get wine country, you get a little bit of everything here. And that's a huge reason why I love living here.
We could walk out our front door and be in open space within 10 minutes. I love that. And you don't get that in a lot of big cities or certain places because you have to either drive, get stuck in traffic, 30 minutes, an hour before you even get to open spaces and trails. So there's so much beauty in that, having that simplicity of going outside, being able to walk around and explore and have the room to breathe. So the natural beauty of the Central Coast is one of the huge highlights.
Yep. Yeah, it so is. And the weather is just always so predictable. You're pretty much always in the mid 70s. So just bring a light sweater with you everywhere you go. And it's just perfect. Outside is perfect here. And that helps contribute to the quality of life, which we've identified as a big pro as why you should move here because the quality of life is so beautiful. You just get this slow living and people are happy to be here. You run into so many different people at the grocery store or downtown and everyone is just it's just peaceful and happy and that is a quality of life that I don't really see anywhere else.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, the climate is just stunning. I love it. Like most days of the year, it's like so warm outside. Like in January, we're at the beach and it's sunny. It's like, oh my gosh, how do we get this? This is just so special.
Yeah, yeah, and I think too, when you have that really good quality of life, you have, like, less stress in general,
Yeah.
and that's palpable, that stress, that negative energy people put out, you can feel it. So when you run into all of your friends in town or at the beach and they're relaxed, it even just makes you more relaxed.
And that I think has a lot to do with traffic
Yeah.
because there is just, it's so sad how much time on average Americans are spending in traffic per day. It could be an hour or more sometimes in traffic. And right now in SLO County, the mean travel time to get to work is 22 and a half minutes. So that's pretty short compared to the national average. And so you're just spending less time in traffic, which means you're spending more time with your family, your loved ones, spending more time outdoors enjoying the beauty and the natural landscapes. And for us, I know it was really special when our commute was only 7 minutes to get to our office. And then, lifestyle moves, and now it's a 4-minute commute,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like so great. So that means more time with your loved ones, more time cooking good quality foods, more time really enjoying the things that matter in life.
Yep. Yeah, so let's talk about the food scene here because it is really popular in North County, Paso, with
Mhm.
all the wineries. Food is just really good up there. There's also been some new up and coming restaurants in South County that have just been delicious. Like we went to this amazing sushi restaurant on Monday that, I mean, we hardly eat seafood,
Mhm.
and that just blew us out of the water. It was
Right.
so good. So good. And that's what I love too, is there's a lot of family-owned restaurants, so
Mhm.
you get to support local, keep it in the family, and then you get to celebrate all of the diverse food options that you have
Mhm.
here, which is just really good.
It's so true, and we are a rural area, so there's a lot of agriculture.
Yep.
So there's farm fresh produce every single week at our local farmers market, and it's seasonal too. It's always cycling through different produce, different options, and so you go there, you meet the farmer, you know where your food came from, and you know that by buying local, you're not having as much of a big carbon footprint on the environment. And it's just like, it makes you feel good to know, hey, I got this produce from the guy down at the farmer's market booth that knows who we are.
I know, that is really special. I like that too, and it just makes it taste better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the community has so many wonderful events and activities year round, from 4th of July parade shows and fireworks to the Christmas parade downtown in SLO to the, like, there's even restaurant month going on every
Mhm.
January where they feature a certain lineup of food items for you to go out into the community.
And with Cal Poly, there's always something
Mhm.
too, like, you get the Cal Poly Rodeo in the spring, open house weekend is a big one, and they make a big display at farmers
Mhm.
market, so you kinda feel like you're in college again going through
Right.
that part of downtown, and it's just so special
Yes.
here.
Then there's the Pismo Beach road shows where they have
Oh, yeah.
the muscle cars come
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
They do cruise nights in like Paso and Atascadero where they get all the old cars and they go around. And there are just so many special things in SLO County and on the Central Coast for you to enjoy.
Yeah. Another big pro for a lot of people, especially if you work for an industry that's outside of our area, is the central location. We're only an hour and a half south of Monterey, 3 hours or so south of the Bay Area, and then we're an hour and a half north of Santa Barbara and about 3 hours north of LA. So we are really smack dab in the middle of all these major metros. So if you want to just go on a day trip or even do a weekend trip, or if you have to commute for work, it really is not that far in the grand scheme. And like you said earlier, you could even take, a 45-minute flight and get there sooner
Mhm.
if you really wanted to get there very fast. Otherwise, driving is no issue.
Okay, then there are the incredible education opportunities through Cal Poly, and you can continue to learn and grow there. A lot of people like to go and maybe become a professor on the side and just give back and teach. And the sporting events that Cal Poly has is also another hum of activity year round. There's something going on. So,
Yeah, there's also Cuesta, the local community college, has an awesome nursing program. And over summer, they do something called a college for kids. And it's young kids, I think like middle schoolers, who get to go on campus and take enrichment courses over summer to stay, still stay fresh and on top of school. But it makes the segue from high school to college that much more accessible. So that's really great, is the universities here are doing their part to help make the community better. And there's even adult classes that you can take. I know you did a creative writing class one time at Cal
Mhm.
Poly and Questa too, I think,
Yeah.
just a couple years ago. So you don't have to be enrolled as a full-time student to have access to some of these awesome adult academic
We
programs.
did a self-defense class
Oh,
one
yeah,
time
we
at
did that
Cuesta too.
too.
It was in their
Yeah.
curriculum. They mail out, and so you don't have to be a student. You can just sign up for these courses and go and learn.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There are a lot of great things. And it's when you are surrounded by so many smart people around you, like our neighbors, our professors, and so many of our mentors, teach on the side. And it just makes you want to grow and achieve that much more. So when you're around such high achieving people, it really stretches you and pushes you to
Mhm.
that next level. So that's another pro of living
Yes.
here. You'll have smart friends.
Okay, another pro is there's low crime on the Central Coast.
Yeah.
Now, we say that with an asterisk next to it because you always have to do your due diligence on whichever
Yeah.
neighborhood you're looking at. And there's a lot of great tools online. You can check out Spot Crime. It's a website that you can punch in the address of any spot. It'll show you police reports for the surrounding area. However, generally speaking, Central Coast, San Luis Obispo County is lower crime and it's a safer spot for family and for activities and outings.
Yeah, definitely do your research, but in general, it is safer because we're not those big cities.
Mhm.
We're just not. So, there's a really big sense of community in our area, and I think Cal Poly helps tie everyone together. That's our home team, that's who we root for, and even the local baseball team brings people together over summer. Oh, there's just such a strong pride of community
Mhm.
here. People, like I said earlier, just love living here, and we just bind together when we're in those hard times, like the COVID years. That was so tough, but our town stayed strong during
Mhm.
that, and it helps to be involved in the community to participate. There are so many ways people can get involved, and it's really
Mhm.
easy to get involved. You just show up,
Yeah,
and those opportunities that are provided help make our place even
definitely.
better.
Yeah, it's amazing. The Chamber of Commerce is a big supporter of all local businesses
Mhm.
and they promote our business. They give out our business cards. They are helping support people in the community through their monthly chamber mixers, their events that they do. And people are really just proud of the Central Coast and proud to be here and support and buy local.
Yep. And one of the last reasons, but we only say it's last because we have to wrap up our show. But in general, we could go on and on all day. But one of the last pros of living here is just that outdoor lifestyle. Last week Owen went surfing in the morning with some buddies, doing a workout before coming home, having breakfast with us in the morning, heading off to work. And then that evening we had friends over for dinner, and it was like the perfect day, and it was a random Thursday, and it really is just such a great lifestyle here, and it is what you make of it. If you don't go out intentionally to the beach, you're probably not going to see it very often. So since you do live here, just make that 10-20 minute drive, make a plan to go out there and do it because it'll change the course of your day. It's just so gorgeous to see the beach here. I can't even explain it. Come out and visit, and then you'll
Yes,
then you'll see it firsthand.
totally. So those are pros, those are cons. Let's hear from you. I'd love to see some comments or thoughts on what you like about SLO County, or if there's any cons we missed. Give us some feedback, let us know. And if you're just exploring and wanting to learn more about the region, we'd love to hop on a call with you sometime to get to know more about what your interests are, what you're looking for, and see if making a move to San Luis Obispo County makes sense for you. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.